The clock on the wall said 9 p.m. I glanced out the window of the Dollar Tree. Parking lot was damn near empty. Just my car and a red one parked way out in the corner. I wrapped up the last bit of cleaning for the day and was about to clock out. Next time I looked, it was already 9:45. I muttered a little prayer under my breath. Please, nobody come in now. And of course, right on cue, ding ding, the doorbell went off. I looked up. A white guy walked in, probably mid-40s, shoulder-length brown hair, thick mustache. Didn't even glance at me, just headed straight to the canned food aisle. I gave him a polite hi and went back to sweeping. Couldn't help but chuckle. Guess that's what I get for wishing too hard. Life's got a real sense of humor. The guy was moving slow, sneakers squeaking with every step. I could hear him rustling through the shelves, poking around like he was looking for something specific. I finished up, rolled the cleaning cart behind the counter, checked the register, started counting the drawer, logged today's sales in the book. As I scanned the numbers, that guy popped back into my head. I glanced at the clock, 9:55, looked around the store. He was gone, dead silent. I walked down every aisle. Nothing. No one. Checked the men's restroom, gave the door a polite knock. Anyone in there? Silence. I pushed the door open. Empty. He must have left without buying anything. Guess he didn't find what he wanted. I was busy cleaning, so I didn't catch him leaving. The front door doesn't chime when someone goes out, only when they come in. Yeah, that's probably what happened. At exactly 10 p.m., I wrapped up my shift, locked the main door, shut off the lights in the customer area. Only the ones over the register and by the back exit were still on. Grabbed my bag from the staff locker. Time to head out the back door. I started thinking about tomorrow. Day off. Plan, cook something decent, and binge Netflix. The sound of glass shattering rang out from the front of the store. I jumped, let out a scream, spun around. A jar of jam had hit the floor, smashed to pieces. Thick, dark purple strawberry jam oozed everywhere. At the end of the aisle stood the man, just standing there, staring right at me. He was smiling, wide, too wide, yellow teeth. My heart was hammering in my chest. He'd been here the whole time, hiding, somewhere, and I hadn't seen him. The store's closed, come back tomorrow, I called out, voice shaking. He didn't say a word, just grabbed a box of cereal and whipped it onto the floor. It exploded on impact, flakes flying everywhere. You need to leave, now. I tried to sound firm. Truth was, I was scared out of my damn mind. He picked up a bottle of detergent and hurled it. The cap popped off when it hit. Blue liquid spilled out, mixing with the jam. I backed up toward the counter. My hands were shaking as I reached for the phone. He started walking toward me, still grinning, still laughing. The laugh didn't sound human anymore. I turned and bolted for the back door, fumbled with the key, and dropped it. I bent down to grab the key, hands still trembling. Behind me, I could hear more crashing, stuff falling, glass shattering. I fumbled with the lock, managed to get the back door open, and bolted into the parking lot behind the store. Sprinted to my car, hit the unlock button on the remote, jumped in, slammed the door shut, locked it right away. My fingers shook as I dialed 911. Dollar Tree on Maple Street. There's a man inside. He started wrecking the place after closing. I'm on the night shift. Police will be there in 5 minutes. Are you hurt? No, I said. I'm in my car, out back in the parking lot. From where I sat, I could just make out his shadow moving through the store, thanks to the faint glow from the register lights and the back exit. More glass breaking, more thuds. 10 minutes later, the first cruiser pulled up. No siren, just those red and blue lights spinning in the dark. 2 officers stepped out, hands hovering over their guns. I jumped out of my car and ran over to them. He's still in there, I don't know what he wants. One of the cops looked at me and gave a short nod. You know who he is? Name? I don't know. He came in right before closing like a normal customer. I thought he'd left. The other officer clicked his radio. We need backup at the Dollar Tree on Maple. Male suspect, breaking and entering. Property damage in progress. The two officers moved toward the back door. I stayed by my car, watching. A few minutes later, another cruiser pulled in. 3 more cops jumped out and headed straight into the store. "Out! Hands up!" Their voices boomed from inside. Then a scream. Not fear, rage, raw and feral, like some wild animal backed into a corner. There was a crash. Heavy. Footsteps pounding. Then the sound of metal slamming against metal. I stood outside, frozen, adrenaline buzzing in my veins. "Stop! We got him!" After 10 long minutes, they brought him out. His hands were cuffed behind his back. His t-shirt was ripped to shreds. But the worst part? He was still smiling. Grinning like the whole thing had been some big joke. As they walked him past me, he turned his head, locked eyes with me. In the harsh glare of the police car's headlights, his face looked off. He mumbled something as they loaded him in, too low to catch. One of the squad cars drove off with the man inside. 2 of the officers stayed behind to take my statement. They walked me back into the store so I could check the damage. It looked like a war zone. Stuff everywhere. Shelves knocked over. Broken glass scattered across the floor like glitter from hell. There was a skull drawn in strawberry jam on the floor near the register. Fear surged up and I started crying. The 2 officers gave me a ride home. It was midnight. 2 days later, I was back on the morning shift. The store was in full restock mode after the whole mess. That's when I got a call from the police with an update on the case. The guy's name was Gray Carter. Used to work here 2 years ago. Got into a legal fight with a customer. Ended up getting fired. Since then, he'd become mentally unstable. Had made threats to a bunch of people. I stood there staring out over the half-stocked shelves, carts, and boxes. This wasn't just some random act of vandalism. It was a symptom of something deeper. A crack in the surface. A reminder of the wounds in this town that never really healed. That was hands down the weirdest trip to the Dollar Tree I've ever had. And believe me, I'm never gonna forget it. It was just a random afternoon. I got off work early, figured I'd swing by the Dollar Tree to grab a couple things. The sky was heavy, clouds all dark and moody like it was about to pour. I hopped out of my car, mentally ticking off what I needed while I walked in. Fluorescent lights buzzed overhead, shining down on the jam-packed shelves. The air smelled like cheap plastic and industrial cleaner. Some generic pop song played from the ceiling speakers, mixed with the steady beeping of the barcode scanner up front. I needed toilet paper, detergent, and maybe some snack packs. So I headed straight to the personal care aisle. That's when it happened. This dude suddenly rushed past me, looked to be in his 40s, gray hair all wild. He wore a wrinkled t-shirt and ripped jeans. He was speed walking, cart loaded to the brim, stuff piled high, barely hanging on. Then out of nowhere, he slammed to a stop in front of this lady looking at shampoo. "Can you pay for me? I really need this," he rasped, voice rough like sandpaper. The woman blinked, shook her head, and stepped back quick. He didn't miss a beat, swung around to an old guy near the cough meds. "Can you cover me? It's just $40. The old dude just shook his head and hightailed it down the aisle. I dipped my head, tried to disappear, prayed he wouldn't see me. But no such luck. "Hey, you!" He was already marching over, wheels clattering. "Can you pay for me? I swear I'll pay you back." His eyes were bloodshot, and he had that faint booze stink on him. I shook my head. "Sorry, man. I can't." His face twisted, went from begging to pissed in a blink. Eyes wide, jaw clenched. "It's just $40 he barked, voice getting louder. "I don't have much money either," I said, trying to keep my voice steady as I nudged my cart away. But he stepped right in front of me, then, out of nowhere, flipped his cart over. Everything went flying. Loud crash. Mouthwash bottle rolled straight to my feet. Packs of gum scattered everywhere. "What the hell is your problem?" he yelled, voice booming through the store. I flinched. My heart was hammering. People were staring now, everyone frozen. I tried to move past him, get out of the aisle, but he blocked me again. "What's your problem, huh?" he said again, face red. $40. What's your damn problem?" "Sorry, I gotta go," I said, backing away. My voice was shaky, my throat tight, but he kept coming, heavy footsteps pounding behind me. "What's your problem, huh? What's your problem?" His voice got louder each time, repeating like a broken record. I picked up the pace, pushing the cart faster, wheels squeaking. "Hey!" Another voice rang out, a guy from the store, an employee walking toward us. "What's your problem?" The man froze, spun toward the clerk. "I was just asking her. That's it." "You're disturbing other customers," the employee said, firm. "I'm gonna have to ask you to leave." "I didn't do anything. I just needed help. What's so wrong about that?" The guy threw his hands up, trying to explain like he was the victim. I stopped at the end of the aisle, breathing hard. My palms were sweaty, heart pounding. "You need to leave, now, or I'm calling the cops," the clerk said again, his tone sharper. The man went quiet, still staring at me. Then he gave a slow nod. "Okay, I'll go." But just before he turned to leave, he crouched down. For a second, I thought he was going to pick up the stuff he'd thrown. Instead, he peeled off his ragged brown slippers, then yanked off his filthy white socks. "What's your problem?" he screamed one last time and hurled the slippers and socks straight at me. I jumped to the side. They slammed into the shelf behind me, knocking down a whole row of shampoo bottles. The sweaty socks landed right next to my cartwheel, and the stench hit me a second later. He walked barefoot toward the exit, leaving wet, grimy footprints on the tile as he went. The store clerk just shook his head and started picking up the mess. "You all right?" he asked. "Guys like that show up from time to time, usually high on something, lose control, start hassling people." I gave a small nod. "Thanks for stepping in." I was still rattled. I wrapped up my shopping as fast as I could. At checkout, I kept glancing toward the entrance, paranoid he might be out there waiting. But the parking lot was clear. I got in my car and slammed the door shut, locking it right away. Even on the drive home, I could still hear it echoing in my head. "What's your problem?" To him, the problem was simple. I didn't help. I didn't give him what he wanted. That was hands down the wildest trip to Dollar Tree I've ever had. And yeah, there's no way I'm forgetting it. My name's Judith. Last Friday night after work, I stopped by the Dollar Tree to grab a birthday card for my daughter. She was turning 7 the next day, and I'd been so swamped I nearly forgot. It was around 10 p.m. when I pulled into the parking lot. The place was pretty much deserted. It should be quick. I knew the store was about to close, so I hurried inside. The cashier, a young woman. She gave me a quick nod and kept stacking gum on the shelves. I wandered down the aisles, hunting for the card section. That's when I noticed a guy standing at the end of the aisle. He was dressed head to toe in black, hood pulled up over his face. I grabbed a pink birthday card with a cake on it. When I turned around, the guy was gone. Didn't think much of it. Just walked up to the register. I paid my $2 and left. As I stepped outside, I spotted him again. He was leaning against a green pickup truck parked way over in the corner. He is staring at me. I tried not to make a big deal out of it, unlocked my car, and slid into the driver's seat. In that moment, all I could think about was what to write in the card. I started the car, backed out of the space, glanced at the rearview mirror. The guy was gone. The drive home was the usual one. Quiet neighborhoods, old 2-story houses from the 60s, most of them dark at that hour. As I turned onto my street, I heard something coming from the back of the car. It sounded like something rolling across the floor. Probably just a water bottle or some random thing I'd tossed in the back seat earlier. But then it happened again. Clearer this time. That wasn't a water bottle. It sounded like movement. My heart kicked up. I checked the rearview mirror again, but it was too dark to make out anything in the back. I reached up and flipped on the interior light. A soft yellow glow lit up the back seat. Nothing. Looked totally normal. Maybe my brain was making stuff up. And then, another sound. This time, from the trunk. I froze, hands tightening around the steering wheel. Held my breath. Just listened. Maybe it was just the car hitting bumps in the road. But then I heard it again. My heart was pounding so hard. I swallowed and kept driving, trying to stay cool. Then came another sound. My hands started to shake. There was someone in my trunk. That guy in the black hoodie flashed through my mind, the one from the Dollar Tree lot. Could it be him? If he knocked the back seat down, he could get to me. Easy. What the hell was I supposed to do? Keep driving like everything was fine? Call the cops? But my phone was in my purse, sitting in the back seat. I didn't dare reach for it. Just keep breathing. Think. Then the sound from the trunk came again. Louder this time. Someone shifting, moving around. And then I heard something that made my blood run cold. It was the sound of metal hitting metal. That was it. I couldn't take it anymore. I slammed on the brakes. The car jerked to a stop right in the middle of the street. Thank God there wasn't any traffic at that hour. I killed the engine, flung the door open, and jumped out. Took off like a shot. Didn't even dare look back. My heels were clicking like crazy on the sidewalk as I ran. I spotted a house with a light on and bolted straight for it. Please, somebody help me. Open the door. A minute later, the door creaked open. There's someone in my car, in the trunk. Please call the cops. The guy who answered looked me over, dead serious. You sure? I heard noises from the trunk, and there's this man. He's been following me since the Dollar Tree. Please, just call the police. He gave me a nod, grabbed his phone and dialed. Where's your car? He asked while dialing. I pointed down the street. Over there, the gray one. We both looked. My car was still sitting in the middle of the road, driver's door hanging wide open, but there was no one around. The cops showed up about 10 minutes later. I told them everything. One of the officers jotted notes in his little notebook, while the other headed over to check my car with a flashlight. Did you see the guy's face? Number. He kept his hood down the whole time. The officer circled the car, checked under it, then walked to the back and popped the trunk. He called us over. Inside the trunk there were footprints, big ones, pressed deep into the gray carpet. Definitely a man's. Someone had definitely been in your trunk, those footprints prove it. My head started spinning. My legs felt like jello. If I hadn't slammed on the brakes and jumped out, he could have waited me out. Or worse. We'll check the area. You want us to take you home? Yeah, please. They put me in the back of the patrol car, and another officer drove behind in mine. From now on, check your car before you get in. That guy knew your car. The officers gave me a few warnings, then took off. After they left, I went straight to my daughter's room and checked in on her. Then I walked back to the living room and sank into the couch, hugging a pillow to my chest. I couldn't sleep. Every time I closed my eyes, I saw him, that man in the black hoodie, just standing there in the parking lot, watching me, and I knew exactly what he wanted. A woman, alone, late at night. He'd been watching me from the store, just waiting for the right moment to slip into my car. If I'd driven all the way home and parked in the garage where no one could see us, he would have gotten out and done whatever he wanted. I've got security cameras now, all over the house, and every time I get in my car, I check the back seat. I check the trunk too. Every single time. At red lights, I check the rear view, and when I hear a weird noise behind the car, my heart starts pounding, just like it did that night, because I know he's still out there, somewhere, waiting for his next victim. Some decisions in life, when I look back on them, still make me shiver. The decision to refuse a ride to a strange woman that night probably saved my life. I'm Katie, 26 years old, living alone in Albany, New York. It was an evening after my shift, and I stopped at Dollar Tree to buy a few essentials. Just as I stepped out of my car, a voice behind me startled me. "Excuse me, could you give me a ride?" I turned around and saw a woman, about 30 years old, with disheveled hair and a baggy shirt. She stared at me, her hands clasped in front of her chest. I froze for a few seconds, recalling her very strained voice and seeing her fingers slightly trembling. "Sorry, I can't," I replied briefly, turning and walking away immediately, but I couldn't help feeling a little uneasy as I entered the store. I went inside Dollar Tree and started picking out what I needed. As I was standing by the food aisle, I felt someone approach. Turning around, I saw the same woman from earlier. She had followed me inside. This made me feel uncomfortable. "I really need a ride." This time her voice was more urgent, almost pleading. When I looked directly at her face, the unease in my stomach began to turn into genuine worry. Her eyes were unusually wide. Her face, though seemingly normal, had clenched jaw muscles, as if she was trying to suppress something. She kept darting her eyes back and forth, not focusing on any single point. My gut told me something was very wrong with this person. "I'm sorry, but I can't help you," I said, then moved to another aisle, hoping she would understand and leave me alone. She didn't follow me anymore. I breathed a sigh of relief, trying to shop quickly, pay, and leave the store as soon as possible. I opened my car trunk to put my shopping bags away when I heard footsteps behind me. I froze, and my heart started pounding faster. "Please." I turned around. She was very close now. Her face was completely different from the previous 2 times. Her eyes were wide and glaring as if they wanted to burn through me, and blue veins prominently bulged on her forehead and neck. Her hands trembled violently and clenched into fists, her knuckles white. Her breathing was rapid and irregular. At this point, I was absolutely sure she was not normal. The confusion in my mind now became real fear. I needed to get out of there immediately. I said, "I can't. If you need help, I can call the police for you." I tried to keep my voice calm. Her reaction shocked me. Her face suddenly contorted, and her mouth opened wide as she shrieked a string of obscenities. Then she started punching her own head, her fingernails clawing at her cheeks, leaving red marks. "You don't understand. I need to go home. I need to go home right now." I backed away, my heart thumping. Even though I felt guilty for not helping someone in distress, my instinct told me this was not the time to be kind. I quickly opened my car door and jumped inside, my hands trembling as I fumbled the key into the ignition. A thud startled me. She was trying to open the back door, yanking hard on the handle. "Open the door! Open the door now!" I hit the lock button. Through the rearview mirror, I saw her pick up a large rock from a nearby flower bed. The sound of the rock hitting the car's body was very loud. I didn't dare look back. I just quickly started the car and drove away. Once I was on the main road, I finally dared to look back in the mirror. She was still standing in the middle of the parking lot, rock still in hand, watching my car disappear into the night. As soon as I got home, I called the police to report what had just happened. They took down my statement and sent someone to Dollar Tree to investigate. 2 days later, the police called me back to update me on the investigation. The woman, named Lisa, had been arrested at another grocery store in the area on charges of property damage and assault. She was a severe addict with no fixed address. The police said she had a history of violence when denied help. "You did the right thing by not giving her a ride. In that state, she could have done anything," the officer said. Hearing these words, I truly realized how close I had come to danger. If I had decided to be kind and given her a ride, what could have happened then? She could have attacked me, stolen my car, or even worse. I will never forget the lesson of trusting my gut. Sometimes refusing to help isn't cruel. It's self-preservation.